throughout the course of production. Is that what happened to you on this one?
I mean, definitely. Like at first, we were sort of hanging around with cameras to build the trust level with Wayne, and then halfway through, he was like, you know what? I don't want to do anything sort of missionary. You know what I mean? I want to make this movie innovative, and I want to have like a set format to it. So he wanted us to just basically follow his lead and follow him around and really witness him in real time versus trying to go back. You know, so that's what we did. You know, we ended up going on a roller coaster ride, as you saw in the movie. It was pretty interesting.
Do you know what reason he had when he said that he didn't want the movie to come out anymore and he wanted to stop it?
We don't know what the specific reason is. You know, like I said, you know, we played the movie for him about a month before Sundance. And, you know, he was singing along, laughing at the movie and everything, and loved it. And from what we hear, you know, he plays it on the bus a lot for his friends and stuff. And then just a few days before Sundance, you know, his team called us, and they were just like, you know, you got to pull the whole film. And that wasn't in our agreement. That wasn't anything we had ever talked about or anything. So we're not sure exactly what the specific problem is. You know, we've tried to work with them, and we've had some conversations recently about trying to figure things out, you know, but still to this day, we don't know specifically what the issue is.
You obviously hear in his music the references over the years to syrup, and then you see it firsthand, and it really hits you in a certain way. Like I said at the beginning of tonight, only the way that film can. Going into it, did you know how prevalent it was in his life, and were you sort of surprised during it, just what a main staple it is in his existence?
I mean, first of all, I've never tried syrup, you know, so I don't know what it's doing to him, you know. I don't think, you know, we knew it was to that extent, I guess, you know. But at the same time, what amazes me about him is that, like, when he does interviews or when he does a show, he doesn't miss a beat. And when he does his interviews, he tells people what time he's going on. He remembers everything, like, he hits everything. And he probably records more than people who don't smoke or drink or do anything, you know what I mean? So that's the amazing thing about him, is he's so productive and he's really focused. Like, he never loses focus. It doesn't make him lazy. Or lose focus on where he's trying to go. You know, it's always about taking that next step. So that's, to me, like I mean, it's crazy. You know what I mean?
Was there footage that you guys shot that he didn't want in there, or certain times when you say, okay, you know what, you can't film this?
Yeah, there were times when they were like, you know what, it might be time to turn the cameras off right now, and then other times where they just let the cameras run regardless of what was going on. You know.
We had a screening the other night, and it just sparked a really genuine and interesting conversation. So I'd love for people out there who stuck around to, if you have anything to ask QD about the making of the movie, or anybody have anything they want to share with us?
Actually, real quick, I'd like to give a shout out to the editor, Andy Grieve. He's here. We did an amazing job. And also Adam Balalo, the director, who was really the one living with Wayne day to day. He's not, unfortunately, he wasn't able to come here. He's in Philly, but shout out to him also.
Can't really see with this spotlight, so just jump in there if there's anything you guys want to share. Go right ahead.
What's going on? How many days did you actually film with Lil Wayne? I saw you jump around across the world.
Yeah, so we started shooting about 7 months before the Carter 3 came out, and then we probably stopped shooting about 2 to 3 months after it came out. So it was like through that whole window, we were with him, you know, and we had the exclusive access to him outside of his formal press runs.
Is there anything that you wish you captured more of?
Yes and no, you know, because when we set out to do this movie, you know, like I said, I had read about him wanting to go back to college, and I was like, wow, that's a really interesting sort of notion for somebody, you know, like a rap star to want to go back to college and want to elevate his mind like that. So that's something I would have loved to have covered. But just the way that the shoot went, you know, we ended up not doing like a chronological documentary about every aspect of his life. It was more sort of like living with Lil Wayne for that year and sort of showing that special time. So maybe there'll be a part 2.
Yeah, jump right in.
Was Don't Look Back sort of the Dylan movie? Was it sort of like an influence on this, like in a way that was explicit, or was it something that sort of came afterwards?
It came afterwards. I mean, like I said, Wayne took us on a ride with this one, you know, and we were just sort of following him around like fly on the wall style. And and the movie started coming together as it went along. So they're definitely, I mean, I think after the fact, like when we took it to Sundance, you know, one, they reviewed it as one of the best films there, the best film there, and they were comparing him to Bob Dylan, you know, and I think in some ways that's a compliment because, you know, I think that it allowed mainstream to see him as a creative genius versus anything else, you know.
Yeah, in the back, Joy.
When you said you started filming him 7 months before the Carter 3 came out, like, whose, I'm sure it was a collaboration, but whose, like, first idea was it to really pinpoint him as it was going to be the next superstar? Because I know he was a star, but, like, to be there when that happened and that album came out, and it was huge.
I mean, I was in music for 20 years and worked with Tupac and Ice Cube and LL and all those guys before I was doing movies. Then about when Tupac passed away, a couple years after, like 98, I started looking into doing films about people that I knew well, and I felt like their legacies hadn't been solidified, you know, properly in the media, so that's what drove me to do films. And so even though I transitioned into film, you know, I never took my A&R hat off, you know what I mean? So 5 years ago we tried to make this movie because just based on the human interest, because he had such an interesting background, him and Baby's relationship and just how that all came about. We thought that was just a good human interest story. And then over time, you know, I'm also a huge tech geek. So me and one of the producers, Josh, you know, we're always like scouring the web and chat rooms to see what people are talking about. And that's, a lot of times that informs, you know, what we actually produce in conjunction with, you know, artists that we like and embrace. So we just sort of saw his movement, his star rising, you know, and about a year before the album came out, we were like, this is the time to do it, you know, and Josh reached out and we created a partnership with Lil Wayne.
Well, with more, with qd3, you can listen to Angel's show. You have it on the show, right?
Oh yeah, you'll be on the show in the morning.
No doubt.
So,
Excellent.
Are you gonna bring the movie with you so we can play some clips?
Definitely.
All right. And I was wondering, do you think that he would be as creative without the scissor? Like he could perform and come up with all of the lyrics that he comes up with?
I don't know. You know what I mean? I think that to some degree, him and Tupac are similar in that they got a lot going on in their mind and they use music as therapy. They have to rap. It's almost like, otherwise they would go crazy, you know? And I think that, you know, at least I'll speak for the weed, helps you focus and just sort of drown out whatever else may be going on in your life. Because they both had sort of tumultuous lives outside of the studio. So sometimes maybe it helps them focus. You know, that's my theory on it. You know, is that it sort of puts him in that creative bubble and he doesn't have to worry about all the logistics and the drama and whatever else is going on, you know.
We thank you for bringing the film and sharing it with us here tonight. And please, everybody, go to thecarters.com and just go to, you know, Karma Loop and Rap Radar and Global Grind. Just get it out there and spread the word because this film needs your support. I hope you enjoyed it as much as we did. So thank you so much, man.
My pleasure, man. Thanks for coming.